we can implement? What we can implement? Cache. What is cache is this here? Elastic cache. So elastic cache will be in between your application and RDS. So you have application and you have RDS. In between, what you have? Elastic cache. And this elastic cache is purely a developer topic. So what we do is, similarly like RDS, we'll go and set up elastic cache. We'll go and set up, maintain, configure, secure the elastic cache, and give the endpoint to the developers. So it's up to the developers. It's up to developers that how to connect to RDS and how to connect to elastic cache. Yes or no? So developers need to write a code. Developers need to write a code when to connect to RDS and when to connect to elastic cache and retrieve the data. So now what I'll be doing is I'll be showing you the architecture of elastic cache and what does an elastic cache supports two engines. What are those? Redis. What is that? Redis and Memcached. What is that? Redis and Memcached. So let me share my screen now. Online, can please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Okay, perfect. So today's topic is elastic cache. So what is that single line of answer? Yesterday you told me, no? What is it? What is that? In-memory database caching. In-memory database caching service. So if someone asks you what is elastic cache, then what you should say? It's an in-memory database caching service. So Nana, what is cache? What is cache? All frequently accessed data is stored at one place. And what is that place called? Cache. So all frequently accessed data is stored at this place that is called cache. Can you see the screen? Maybe you can move this side, no? Okay, na? Okay. Okay. Voice is very low. So can you hear me, guys? Well, others? Increase your volume. Jayant. Okay, Nana. See here. Now, okay, if you stop writing, I'll start. Okay. So assume this is the application. What is this? This is the application. This is the application. And this application is connecting to where? In the backend? RDS. It is connecting to the RDS. So this is RDS. Okay. Now, Chitty, the problem here is, first of all, if you need to have a problem, then need to find out the solution, right? So the problem here is the performance. The problem here is performance. So that meaning you have so many applications that you are connecting to RDS and RDS having the performance issues. So if you want to increase the performance on RDS side, what are the options that you have? What are the options that you have if you want to increase the performance in RDS? So you need to create what? RAID replicas. Hey, no, Murali, multi-AZ will increase the performance. No, it is for the high availability purpose. If you want to increase the performance, what you need to create? RAID replicas you need to create. Okay, how many maximum RAID replicas you can create? Maximum 5. Or in another way, what you can do is you can scale up. Let's say you have a DB instance called T2 small. Can you scale up to 22, 32, 64, 128 GB? You can scale up. But how long will you scale up? Right? You need to pay more money there, correct? So there are only two ways to do this. Okay. The one way is to have the RAID replicas, and that one RAID replicas, can you write it? No, you can only read it. And the other way is to scale up the DB instances. Both are limited and then time taking process, and you need to take the downtime for it. Yes or no? So, but here, all your customers started complaining that your application is very slow. The performance is not good because there are so many people that who are from the application is connecting to the RDS, and RDS is getting the data, same data again and again, again and again, again and again. The circle is going on all the time. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, if at all you want to increase the performance of your application, so all frequently accessed data, you are going and fetching it from the RDS. Instead of that, what we can do, we can implement elastic cache. What we can implement? Elastic cache. So elastic cache can be implemented in between here. Okay. So this is elastic cache. So guys, elastic cache is also a database, correct? Elastic cache is a database. And how many engines does it support? 2 engines. What are those? Redis and memcached. Memcached. So either you can go with the Redis, like in RDS, how do we have 6 engines? MySQL, Postgres and all. Similarly, here also in Elasticcache, we have 2 engines, which is Redis and memcached. Either you can go with the Redis or either you can go with the memcached. So, sir, which one is best? What is the difference? We'll see soon. But how to implement? So when this elastic cache will come into picture, you understand now? Because if you want to have a good performance between your application and database, in between what you can put? Elastic cache. What is the purpose of the elastic cache? Cache. What it will do? It will cache it. Okay, see here. Now, so from your application, someone is accessing some data. Now tell me, application will directly go to RDS or first it will check with cache? Yes. First, it will check with cache. First, it will hit whom? It will hit cache. Get cache hit. So, and then if the cache has the data that you are expecting, the cache will respond to the elastic cache will respond back to the application. Now, if cache is missed, so now the application is trying to get the data, but do we have the data? Do we have the data in elastic cache? No. Assume that you don't have a data in Elasticcache. What will happen now? Yes. If cache is missed, from where do you get? Yes, excellent. So application will talk to the RDS. RDS will send back the data to application. Okay. And then so here, so whom hit it? It will read from RDS. Okay. And then it will read from RDS, and finally what will do, whatever the, but okay, see here, now the cache is missed. No, the cache is missed and the application is talking to whom? RDS, and getting the data. And then the application, what will you do? No, the application will go and write into the cache. Whatever the missed data that you got, that will be going and writing to the cache again. So next time, will it go to RDS? No, write to the cache. See, you see the architecture, how the developers will do. You understand, everyone? So see the diagram again. First, the application will hit whom? RDS or cache. First, if you set up elastic cache in between, first it will check with the cache. Hey, Babu, do we have the data? If the elastic cache has the data, elastic cache will respond it. If the elastic cache doesn't have the data, then the application will go and talk to the RDS and you'll get the data back. And the data is not there in Elasticcache, no. And the missed data, this application will go and write it to the Elasticcache again. So just in case if someone is accessing the same data again, will it go to RDS now? No, because it has already written to the Elasticcache, it will get it from the Elasticcache. You understand? Everyone, very simple. Elasticcache is very simple. But guys, here, going to RDS, right into the cache, reading it, getting the values. Who will take care of all these things? Developers. Who should be taking care of it? Developers. So it is up to the developers how they write the code in the application. Okay. So now we have two types of engines. What are those? Redis and memcached. No, everyone has this question, sir, which one is good? Which one should be used? So guys, it is not about which one is good and which one should be used, because if it is bad, AWS will put it here. No, right? AWS will not put it here. So for that reason, you need to go with either Redis or memcached, but they have some properties with that. So Redis, I'll tell you the properties and you will only tell me which one to select. Okay. Redis supports high availability and it supports failover. It supports backups and data is persistent. So you know what is HA? You know what is failover? You know what is backups, right? As a database, can you take the backups? Yes. And data is persistent. Persistent meaning what? So let's say you have created an Elasticsearch engine called Redis, and you have put the data inside it. Just in case if you stop and start this engine, data is still there. Data will not be deleted. That's why data is persistent. Persistent meaning permanent. So if you write in Redis, the data will not be deleted. Whereas in memcached, so does it support? It doesn't support HA, no failover, no backups. Data is not persistent. What is the meaning of not persistent? If you push stop and start or reboot it, all the data is gone. So it is up to you whether which one you want to select it. So there is question, sir, write to cache will be done automatically. How it will be done automatically? Right? Who should be doing that? Developer should write a code and write it into it. Okay. Do you all understand? So which one is the best? Redis or memcached? Redis. But if you have a requirement that you don't really care about the data, and if your data is lost also, no problem, because it is cache only, no? So in that case, why to, and which one is costlier? Redis is costlier. So based on your requirement, you can go with either Redis or memcached. Understood? Clear? Online, is it clear? So now you tell me this elastic cache is mostly for write purpose or read purpose? Certification question. So elastic cache is mostly for read purpose. So if you want to increase the performance, can you choose elastic cache? If you want to increase the performance, you can choose elastic cache. Okay, these are two certification questions. And also, as I told you, this is a developer topic. No, this is developer topic. This developers, can you please back me up? Do you know what is sessions? Sessions. So developers knows this. Session meaning basically, okay, now you log into the bank, internet banking. So until you log out, everything is a session. It is your session, right? So it is your session. So basically, now you have logged into Amazon e-commerce website. You have logged in, no, and you are buying that and this. So after some time, the session will be timeout, correct? So the connection to the server is called the session. So these sessions basically, yes. So these sessions basically developers will put it in cookies. Where do we put? Cookies. So basically they have the cookies concept. They'll keep the sessions data, all the thing. But here developers, what you can do is elastic cache can handle the sessions also, right? Elastic cache can handle the session data. And obviously, as I'm talking about the database, does it support encryption? Yes. So Elastic Cache supports encryption. Guys, it supports in transit. And what is the next one? Another one. Data at rest. It supports both. Okay, ma? So, not only that, Ashok, but that is also ideal, one of the scenario. And what it is, the entire transactions that will be done, it's through the session only. Okay, so now we have something called developer strategies. What is that? Strategies. Okay. So how does the developer will use this Elastic Cache? There are two ways that he can do. There are two ways. One is called lazy loading. What is that? Lazy loading. So lazy loading meaning load whenever necessary. I'll tell. Load the data whenever necessary. And another one, we call it as write through. Or is that write through? Write through to meaning parallelly, parallelly writing on DB and cache. Okay. So guys, it is up to the developers how they handle the Elastic Cache. So one thing is the one which I have written in the diagram. See the diagram. So application, they will write the code first to talk to whom? RDS or Elastic Cache? Elastic Cache. First, they will talk to Elastic Cache. If the cache is there, that is good. If cache is not there, then it will go to RDS and get the data and write it in Elastic Cache again. So they are loading the data whenever it is necessary. That is called lazy loading. What is that called? Lazy loading. So whenever is required, that they are getting the data from RDS. So there is another style called write through. What is that? Write through. Write through meaning from initially onwards, application is writing both on Elastic Cache as well as RDS, both at the same time. Application is writing on the Elastic Cache and both on the RDS. Now tell me, is there any chance that Elastic Cache miss the cache now? Because RDS and Elastic Cache have the same data. So it is up to the developer how they follow the strategy, whether they want the lazy loading or write through concept. Based on the requirement, they'll go for it. Is it clear till here, everyone? So in write through 100% similar data on Elastic Cache and RDS. That means DB. Is it clear, guys? Still here? Any questions still here? Easy, no? Okay. Online, is this easy? Clear? Super. Okay, so as we are talking about Redis and Memcached, you tell me which one we should be concentrate more on, Redis or Memcached? Redis only, correct? So we can, if there is a requirement, you can go with the Memcached also. But there is something to be discussed on Redis. So let's talk about little bit on Redis. Okay, very important. Redis. So in Redis, so we have cluster mode enable, cluster mode disable. What is that? Cluster mode enable and cluster mode disable. Cluster mode enable and cluster mode disable concept. So here First of all, I need to tell you what is cluster. Nanachti, what is cluster in general? Group of servers. So cluster meaning group of servers. But here in Redis, cluster meaning it's a collection of shards. What is it called? Collection of, say that, collection of shards. Collection of shards. So make use of this word, shard. What is that? Shard. R should be rolling. So shards. So what is that? So okay, now we know what is cluster. What is cluster, Nana? Again, what is cluster? Collection of shards. Now you should know now what is shard. So shard meaning collection of nodes or collection of servers. Shard meaning what? Collection of nodes. Guys, you understood? Now what is shard now? Shard is a collection of nodes. And what is cluster? Collection of shards. You understand? So now each shard contain, what does the shard contain? Nodes. So each shards contain 6 nodes. How many nodes? In one primary and 5 replicas. Very important. So each shard contain how many nodes, Nana? How many nodes? 6 nodes. In that, one replica and 5 are, one primary and 5 are replicas. Replica nodes. Okay. So now, this is cluster mode enabled. So cluster meaning is collection of shards. Collection of shards. So now, this is one shard. And this also have one more shard. Yes or no? So what I gave this cluster mode enabled. Cluster mode enabled means it's a collection of shards. So this is one shard. So I call this as a shard. This is shard. Okay, shard contain how many nodes? 6 nodes. How many primary? One primary and okay. So this one is primary, and these are all what? Replicas. R. So maximum how many replicas you can have here? 5. So can you have 1 also? Yes. Can you have 2 also? 3 also? 4 also? 5. So up to based on a requirement, you can have how many number of replicas that you need, you can have it. But maximum how many you can have? 5. So this is one shard. What is this? This is one shard. Like this, can you have multiple shards in one cluster? Right? In cluster, you know how many shards you can have maximum? 500 shards you can have. Approximately how many shards you can have? 500 shards. Just imagine how big it is. One shard itself is enough, right? So here, how many shards they are giving? 500 shards. So if you have a very big and huge amount of data, then doesn't matter how many shards that you want, you can just go for it. So this is cluster mode enabled. Right? Cluster mode enabled. So if cluster mode is disabled, how many shards will be there? If cluster mode is disabled, how many shards will be there? Only one. How many are there? Only one. So then a cluster mode enabled. Cluster meaning what? Collection of shards. That is cluster. If there is no cluster, how many shards will be there? Only one shard. Only one shard will be there. That's it. And then this primary to replica and everything, the replication and then failover, high availability, etc. Everything is managed by AWS. So you go and create how many guys, primary, you cannot see it. Okay. Primary by default, it will be there. And replicas, every replicas have its own endpoint. So whenever you create a primary replicas and all, how do you connect to this elastic cache? Using endpoint. Using endpoint. In RDS also we had endpoint, no? Similarly here also we have a endpoint concept. So cluster mode enable, cluster mode disable concept. In cluster mode disabled, how many primary you can have? How many primaries are there? One primary. How many replicas are there? 5 replicas. You all understand? Clear? Easy? That's it, elastic cache. Arre? Oh, how would you explain that? I told you this. After completing the course also, you will say the same thing. అప్పుడే చెప్పిందా సార్ రండి ఇంటికి వెళ్దాం Okay. So okay, if you still have doubts, sir, that's it, the elastic cache. Let's go to the console and see what we have there. Okay. So if you don't believe me, huh? So thank you, thank you. What is node? Server. Node is nothing but server. There are few doctors, if you go to that and they'll do the injection also, you will not get to know. Correct? I'm that AWS doctor for you. uh, okay, Nana. CTC here. Okay, so which one should we go to? Elastic cache. So do you see this here? I told you, if you have completed RDS, if you have understood RDS, the rest of the database concepts are simple. I'm telling you. Right? Okay, now here, do you see elastic cache is regional or global? Regional. Until I say everything is regional. So now, do you see here? Get started. On the left side, we have the menu. So you want Redis, you want Memcached, right? It's up to you. So let's say, for example, which one should go first? Let's go for Memcached because we haven't discussed on Memcached, right? Let's see what is there. So if you click on Memcached cluster and it is asking for create Memcached cluster. What does the cluster contains? Nodes. So, but do we have the shard concept here in Memcached? No, because shard concept is for which engine? Redis only, because Redis support high availability and all. Do we have primary replica concept here in Memcached? Nothing. Memcached is plain vanilla ice cream, normal ice cream. Okay. So should we go and click on create Memcached? Click on create Memcached. Easy creator, standard creator. We don't like easy, huh? So let's go to the standard create. And then you want this elastic cache Memcached in AWS cloud or in your on-premises? In AWS cloud. So, okay. When you this topic is not good for now for you because you're all just now becoming solution architect. Once you got experience and once you are a little bit more experienced guy, then you will see. We learned about private cloud. What is private cloud? Starting public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. What is private cloud? Within the organization, right? So the provider services are accessed within the organization. So now we are all working in our company, right? We are all working in one company, let's say Boom Company, right? So our company name is Boom Company. So now we are all working in the same organization, Boom organization, and then we should have our own data center also. So can I set up my own private cloud here? Yes, I can set up it. No. So I can set up my own private cloud. So to set up that private cloud, you need to have super expertise. Yes or no? You need to set up so many things in the private. So basically, like AWS public cloud, you're setting up the private cloud here. So you need to have a lot of expertise on that, on networking, on the server side, on the storage, on the the routings, on the DNSs and Active Directories. So you need to have lots of expertise to handle the private cloud. That's the reason why many people don't go with the private clouds, because they need to have more experience, more expertise. So now AWS is helping something in private cloud. AWS said, Babu, public cloud. No, then why you're entering into my organization? I have a lot of expertise. AWS saying that I have a lot of expertise. I'll be setting up your private cloud also. So that private clouds can be connected something called using a service called AWS Outposts. What is that? AWS Outposts. So this will be in your feature. You will get to know. But AWS Outposts. See, on premises private cloud. So please write down AWS Outpost is equal to on premises private cloud. Because you will get a very rare chance to work on the private clouds. Just in case, if at all you got it, so please remember you have a service called AWS Outpost. AWS Outpost is equal to on premises private cloud managed by AWS. Okay, Nana? So now you understood. This guy is asking where you want this elastic cache, on cloud, on premise. On premise meaning who is handling? AWS is handling. Through which service? AWS Outpost. You create your elastic cache instance on a outpost through AWS Outpost. You need to create a subnet ID, blah blah outpost. Okay. So now we are setting up your memcached in AWS cloud or on premises. AWS cloud. Select the AWS cloud and give the name. Name Kumari. No. Memcache D cluster. You can give any name. Okay. And then next engine version. Quite normal engine version. We have so many engine versions. Like in RDS also we have engine version. No. Similarly here also we have a memcache engine version. What is the port number? 11211. So do you want to change all these things? No. Parameters. And then node type. In RDS, we had instance type, no. Similarly, here also you have a node type. How much big machine that you need, select it. So this is based on your requirement only, no? Yes. So how much GB that you have here? 13 GB. If you want to have bigger, do you see this? 419 MG, not MG, GB, right? So select it, whichever that you want. But do you have our favorite one? Oh, I have, T2 micro, right? So how many nodes? So how many maximum nodes you can create? You can create so many nodes, yeah. And do you see here quotas? Did I show you about the quotas before? Okay. So there is a service called quotas. What is that? Service quotas. Do you see? Service quotas is also one of the service where, okay, let me open this quotas. So what is the service quotas meaning? Quotas, that meaning limits. How many you can create what in which service? So let's say I told you how many VPCs you can create per region? 5. That is a quota, right? So like this, so let's say AWS services. Which service that we are planning here? Elastic Cache. No, Elastic Cache. Go to Elastic Cache. Do you see? Go to Elastic. So in Elastic Cache, these are the quotas that you have. So nodes per cluster. This one only, we are talking about memcached. How many you can create maximum? 60. That is the default quota. So if you say adjustable, yes, That meaning you can increase it. You can request a quota increase. That means you can create a ticket with AWS and you increase from 60 to how much ever you want. So in Redis, nodes per cluster per instance type. So per instance type, you can have 90 nodes per region. Do you see? Subnet, shards per cluster, security groups, parameter groups, nodes per, and how many nodes we can have per shard in Redis? 6. Do you see this here? 6. Is it adjustable? That is maximum you can have it. So like this, guys, not only in Elastic Cache, if you want to go to any service, just go to the service here and then type it, and then you will get the quotas there. So when you get this kind of problems is, all of a sudden, let's say, for example, all of a sudden, let's say in your fresh AWS account, how many maximum EC2 instances that you can launch? 20. How many? 20 maximum. So you're launching 20. 21st you are launching it and it is terminating automatically. How many times you are launching it, it's terminating. Then what is the problem? Don't think that some hacker came and then he's doing something, because your limit has been reached. The quota has been reached. Then you'll get to know, oh, why it is not launching 21st? Because 20 is my quota limit. So you need to go to the here AWS, create a ticket with AWS saying that, Babu, please increase to my quota to 20 to 50 or 100. But don't increase it to all of a sudden to 1,000. Do not increase the quota to the maximum limits at the same time, at the one time, because I'll tell you the reason. Just in case some hacker hacked your account and you have the EC2 instance quota as 1,000, can he launch 1,000? He can launch 1,000. Boom, one single click he can launch 1,000, right? But if you have the quota as 100, maximum 100 he'll launch. So whenever there is a requirement, then only you go and increase the quotas, but don't increase it just like that. So please write down service quotas. Service quotas is used to know the limits of the AWS resources. Service quotas is used to know the limits of AWS resources. AWS resources. Okay. So in next point. So anytime you can increase the limit. Anytime you can increase the limit. Anytime you increase the limit / quota by creating a ticket with AWS. By creating a ticket with AWS. Based on your, there is a question, guys. How much time will it take to resolve this quota ticket? Which support you are using? Basic support, no? Basic support is free, no? Do you expect within immediately? Because it will take 1 or 2 days to reply. But if you are going for that developer support or business support, they'll do it in 1 day or few hours. But if you go for last one, which one? Enterprise, within 15 minutes they do. But you need to pay $15,000 per month. Okay, now you understand, no? So how many nodes that you want? You can see the here nodes. So I'm just putting for now 1. Can I put 20 also? Yes. Subnet groups default in 1A and 1B, you're keeping it. Availability zone. So now let's say number of nodes, if I put 2, how many nodes I have put it here? 2. That here I put 2. That's the reason why I'm getting 2. If I put only 1, you will get only node 1. So node 1, you want to be in which availability zone? 1A, 1B, it's up to you. Select that and then click on next. So this memcached doesn't support all these things. Okay. And then security group. Which security group here will be using it? Default security group. Choose it. And this memcached, the backend entire thing is completely managed by AWS. If you want to do any maintenance, like patching or updating or installing something, you can specify it. Otherwise, and if you want to send a notification, send it to your 9 batch. Click on next. That's it. Click on create. You see? So previous uh, here. Okay, so I put no preference, then see what it does. Okay, there is question, sir. In Memcached has 16 nodes, and Reddit has only 6. Then we need to use Memcached. No, because the main difference between Redis and Memcached is what high availability and failovers, backups, and all, right? And data is persistence in Redis, but here data is not persistent. So, do you all understand how easy to create Memcached cluster now? Yes. So it will take a lot of time to get it created. Now, which one should we create? Redis. Do you see on the top we have Redis cluster? So here, let's go and click on create a Redis cluster. So do you see this here? We have easy create, configure a new cluster or restore from the backups. Which one? Configure and create a new cluster. So cluster mode enabled, disabled. Just now we learned no cluster mode enabled, disabled. What is the difference between cluster mode enabled and disabled? Enable meaning number of shards. Disable meaning only one shards. Very good. So now I go with cluster mode disable first. Okay. Don't enable it because money. So cluster mode disable and give the name called Redis cluster. Location, which one? AWS or on-premise? Select multi-AZ. Yes or no? No. Early morning you wake up in the midnight also you'll say multi-AZ. Amma, no, multi-AZ. Huh? So click on, because I told you this Redis supports multi-AZ failovers to the read replicas across availability zones in case of primary node failure. So don't go for it. And auto failover, you can keep it. Multi-AZ is not required. So auto failover, you can put it if something goes wrong. Engine version is fine. What is the port number? 67N. This port number should be added in which security group? Default security. In default security, we need to do a inbound rule, right? Inbound rule. And node type T2 micro. So Nana, I told you, if this one is cluster mode enabled or disabled? Disabled. I have selected disabled. Do you see cluster mode? I have selected disable here. Disable meaning how many shards? Only one shard. How many nodes? 6 nodes. One is primary and replicas. So if you come down here, it is asking for number of replicas. How many replicas you can have maximum? Can I put one also? Can I put two also? Yes. Maximum how many you can put it? 5. You got this? And then subnet groups, select this and no preference. I told you this Redis supports encryption at rest, encryption in transit. If at all you want, select the encryption. Otherwise, no need. And secret group, select our default secret group. And I told you Redis supports backups. So you have the backups here. So maintenance is fine. If you want, go with the SNS. And then logs, you have it here. And then click on next. That's it. Click on create. How many nodes did I give? 2. Okay, that's fine. Let me go and create it. Click on create. Do you see how simple to create the Redis cluster now? So in Redis, in Elastic Cache, the concept is all about the Redis, the shard concept, number of replicas concept, and rest everything is normal. So did I told you no? Easy no? Elastic Cache? Yes or no? And here you have, so it will take time to get it created. And here you have global data store. What is that? So you can replicate the data from one region to other region. Replication, like how we have in EFS. EFS can be replicated from one region to other region. Similarly, here also you can create a global data source where you can have a replication to other region. So don't create it, but cluster mode you want to enable. Okay, so I didn't show you cluster mode enable concept now. So if you select it, if you go for cluster mode enable, the only difference that you get it here is number of But if you custom mode disable concept, do you get this option? Only one. The default is one. But here it is asking how many shots you can have maximum. 500. Do you see this here? 500. So you put number of shots and a number of replicas per each shot. You select it and then you create it. So you will get it. Shot one has one primary, two replicas, because I have given here two. If I put 5 replicas maximum, and if I put 10 shots, so you will get the big list here. You see? So if you select specify availability zone, you can specify availability. So which replica should be in which availability zone, you can specify it. Otherwise, leave it. Do you understand the difference between customer enable, customer disable concept? Rest everything. Can you reserve the instance type here? What is the purpose of reserve nodes here? Discount, you will get it. So backups, you can restore it, you can copy, you can delete it. Subnet groups, we discuss. Parameter groups, we does. And user management here. So user management, guys, you can create the users here only. Create user, give the user ID, username. You can give the password, and you just create it. And then developers will do this. And then group management, you can create the groups also, like DevOps group, support group, whichever group you create, and assign the users, and they will able to access the clusters here. Simple, no, guys? Yes or no? So it is creating memcache is created. Okay, see, memcache is created now. So if you select it, what are the actions that you have? Modify, reboot to delete. Simple. If you reboot, what will happen? Data will be there or not? No, data is not persistent here. So if we click on it, and do you see this here? This is the endpoint. And how many nodes that we have selected here? Only one node. And this is the node endpoint. Got it now? Right? And simply you need to give this to the developers in order to connect and work. And meanwhile, Redis is creating, and let me show you how they write the code. Okay. I'll show you one small Python code. Okay. So down. Okay. Okay. So do you see this? This is a sample code, Python code we have. Let me explain you. So here we have a definition here called, what is this? Save user. What is the user ID? Say it. 17. Which is the user ID? What is the name? Kevin. So name is the key and Kevin is the value. Name is the key and Kevin is the value. So basically here, user is equal to get user. And do you see this? There are two type of strategies. One is write through. Another one is lazy loading. What is lazy loading? Whenever is load the data whenever it's necessary. That meaning first it will check elastic cache or RDS in lazy loading. First it will check the cache. So now do you see get user? Which user? User ID. Which is the user ID? 17. So first it will check whom? Elastic cache. Do you see record is equal to cache dot get user ID? Which user ID? 17 user ID. So first it is checking what? Cache it is checking. So now if record is none, that meaning from cache, if you don't get the data, what is record? Record is a variable here. What is that? Variable. So cache dot get user ID, the information will be stored in the record. And if the record is none, that meaning if you don't get the data from cache, so the request will go to where? RDS. Do you see? Now if the record is none, record is equal to db.query select star from. So that means this is a database query. And this database query will be stored, the output is stored where? In the record. That is a variable. And this record Then again, you are writing to the cache. Cache.set, which user ID, 17 user ID, and record meaning the data which is come here, that record, and then TTL value, how long it should be cached. So that meaning first it is reading from cache, and if cache is missed, it is reading from database, again it is writing on the cache. This is Python code. You understood Python code? You understood Python code also from me? I should be very careful. Now I should not go into the Python now slowly. You tricked me in Linux, I remember. Linux and DevOps. Huh? Okay, do you understand? So this is called lazy loading. And what is write through? Write through meaning you are parallelly writing on the cache and RDS. Do you see? They are saving the user. Where they are showing, they're saving in the database, and also at the same time, they're saving in the cache. So this is the write through concept. So all these things will be handled by the developers. What you should be doing here is whatever we did in the Elastic Cache console, you need to do that. Rest everything will be handled by the developers. Does the developer keep both config Elastic Cache? Obviously, no. Kishore, yes. They'll be writing a small functions for the connection strings for RDS and then Elastic Cache. So it is still creating it. Okay. Do you see how many we have given, Nana? One primary and two replicas. So if you want to connect to the primary, here endpoint is not there yet. Slowly you will get it. Okay. So you will get the endpoint for the primary, and you will get the endpoint for replica, and you will get endpoint for this replica also. This replica mean read replica or write replica? Read only. So if you want to read it, you can read it from the replicas. And if you want to write it, you can write it on the primary. So this is primary endpoint, and this is the reader endpoint. So this price for write purpose, you give this endpoint to the developers, and for read purpose, you give this endpoint to the developers. Then is this clear? It's very simple. So modify backups, and you can start migrating the data, everything you can do it here. Okay. So the only task here is for you, it's very simple. So you create a Redis cluster. You know how to create a Redis cluster now? Create a Redis cluster. Go with only one replica. Don't go to useless. Okay. Create only one replica. But I want you to connect to that read replica or primary or replica from Linux machine. It's very easy. Huh? Should I give you a hint? So connect to AWS Redis from local. Okay, let's say for example, cluster mode disable, cluster mode enable. So all this things neatly they have given. You see the lines? Simple. So here, which one? If you want to go for Linux 2, Amazon, this is which AMI? Amazon Linux 2. This is Amazon Linux. So either you go with, don't go with the Red Hat. So you have the commands for either Amazon Linux or Amazon Linux 2. So what you need to do, you need to install one CLI. What is that? Redis CLI you need to install. What is you need to install? Redis yum install. This one you need to install. And this Redis. And you do this. And then you connect it. So can you replace the primary endpoint here with this? Okay. And then what is the port number for Redis? 67 something will be there. You put it and then set x is equal to hello. Okay. And if you are getting this x, then you will get the data of hello. So you are setting the cache. This is a different type of language where they set the cache and all. Developer will take care of it. So will you able to do this? Connect it simply. If you go with Amazon on this and this. So I'm giving this URL to you. Okay. Will you able to do? Any questions? So, okay, see here, elastic cache. I mean, this Redis cluster is now available. If you go to actions, modify, migrate data from one endpoint to another endpoint, you can migrate it, guys. So from one engine to another engine, you can migrate it. Okay, you understood? So if you have multiple Redis cluster, can you migrate the data from one cluster to another cluster? Yes, you can do it. So view details meaning, see, you get the endpoints, you got it. This is primary endpoint, this is replica endpoints. Okay, matrix meaning what? Monitoring. You can see the logs, you can, and here is service updates. What is it, Nana? Service updates meaning AWS will send you some patches. AWS will send you some patches, security patches. So that patches will be available here. But just now we have launched it. That is the latest engine that we have. So if you are using the latest engine, and later maybe 1 month, 2 months, AWS will release some patches. What you need to do, you need to install the patches on the engine. It's very simple. If you get any patch, select it and apply. That's it. And you need to have a downtime for that. Okay, Nana? You understood? Any questions here? Easy, no? So that's what I said. Elastic cache, it just is a developer's topic, but I hope you understand this topic also, even though it is developers. So as an AWS solution architect, you should be in the position to suggest any developer or any customer that if you want to increase the performance of your application, there are multiple ways to do it. One is on the RDS side, you can have read replicas and you can scale up the instance types. That is one thing. And second thing would be to have a elastic cache in between, so that all the frequently data can be stored in that. And then, so who will be setting up this elastic cache? We should be setting up. So we'll go for Redis and Memcached based on the requirement. So you know the difference between Redis and Memcached now? So do you know how to configure Redis? Do you know how to configure Memcached? And do you know how to find out the endpoints? And you give these endpoints to the developers to work. Simple. Take the screenshots online. And please ask if you have any questions. And tomorrow we'll have a class. Okay. We have a class. Only, for me, I'll have only free day, that is only on Sunday. Only one day. Saturday is also packed, complete, full hours packed. Okay. No, Babu, we have not VPC tomorrow. So Route 53 VPC, all major topics that I keep it at last. So Jujube topics we'll learn all these things. Okay. Don't worry. Why tomorrow which service tension? Huh? And DynamoDB is also a completely purely developer topic. Here also we are setting up DB engines, but in DynamoDB nothing, no DB, nothing. Directly table. In DynamoDB, what you need to create directly? Table only. You need to create table directly. Who will be generally creating the tables? Developers will be creating a tables. Multiple applications can connect it. No issues. Okay, there are questions, sir. How many classes are there left? It is going. So, next week. You don't want services? You want? No. So I'm not in hurry at all. Okay. Please don't make me hurry. Okay. ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నావు అని తెలిసిన అర్థం. Yeah, of course, I'll be taking my own sweet time. But the thing is, I don't want to miss the services. Okay. Each and every service is also important. So I said already, for this class, I'm giving extra services. Okay. I have not done to any other batches yet. Okay. So if you want me to give these extra services, please allow me some time. Okay. Sir, when I'm discussing about HA with one of my colleagues, he said that having application multi is good. Can we have application running in multi-cloud? Like, is it practical? Yes, you can have it. This is like over the head for people. But Arjun, guys, Arjun is asking one thing. No, Arjun is asking one thing. So he was discussing HA, high availability, with his friend. And then he said that the real-time friend. So he said that having the application in multiple availability zone, not multiple availability zone, you should correct it. It should be multiple regions. So it's good. But he's telling his primary application should be in AWS, and he need to have another application in Azure. I mean, multi-cloud. That is very rare to have, because the meaning of this is, what if AWS is down? Not region, not availability, the whole AWS. So their application should be keep on up and running, no? So they need to have one more setup in other cloud provider. That is disaster recovery ka bop of. That meaning no one will go that much level of high availability. Just in case, if they are really, because AWS is giving 99.99999% durability availability, no? So we no need to worry about it. So you can have high availability within AWS across the regions. So you no need to go with the multi-cloud HA. But if there is a requirement, yes, you can go for it. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, Nana. So let me go ahead and delete this. So delete. So create backup. Do you want to create a backup? No. So we strongly recommend not required. So go ahead and then delete the cluster, and then delete the memcached. Go ahead and then delete it. So, but for traffic routing, cloud providers, what should we use? That's a good question. Another. These are all the problems that you should have a DNS outside, Venkatesh. So because if you use Route 53, Route 53 is within AWS. So you need to have a DNS service like GoDaddy, so that it can route it to Azure and you can route it to AWS. Okay. Fine. Okay. And can you give the final CC for today, please? Of course, yes. Guys, you can go easily from 3 to 4 years of experience with this, what you have learned from me. Okay. Saho. Okay, so that is all, guys, for today, and I'll see you tomorrow. We have a class tomorrow, and I'll be seeing tomorrow with the next service. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Have a nice day, and see you tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.